Mohamadi, the Bedouin weaver. The Bedouin are desert nomads well known for their weaving. Each Bedouin tribe has its own distinctive weaving patterns. This is a story about a boy who helped develop one for his tribe. Mohamadi took a stone and wedged it into the sand. He was helping his mother set up the alsidu, the weaving loom. She was the loom setter, the one who knew how to set up the loom used for making blankets. It was a highly respected position, and she had been asked to make a blanket for their sheik. The sheik was a very wise man and the head of Mohammedi's tribe. He gave advice to everyone and made all the important decisions. Mohammedi's mother stretched her hand onto the ground, leaving a row of handprints lengthwise. It was how she was able to measure the placement of the loom. Here, she said, pointing. Mohammadi quickly placed the stones where his mother requested. The stones would determine where the frame of the loom would rest. Just then, Mohammedi's sister, Saida, came out of the tent. She had just finished spinning the slightly greasy, golden brown sheep's wool around one of the spindles that held the finished yarn. Mohammadi always longed to join his sister when she spun the wool, but their father always called him back to tend the sheep.
Saida,
Mohammadi asked.
Is that Mina's wool you are using?
Mina was Mohammadi's favorite sheep, and he recognized all the flock's wool because he helped in the shearing of the sheep. Yes, Saida nodded, sitting down upon the ground next to her mother.
What pattern are you going to weave, Mother?
He asked. I'm not quite sure, she sighed. New patterns do not come so easily these days. Mohammedi's mother rubbed her eyes. He knew his mother's eyesight was not what it used to be, and she often rested in the afternoon. Mohammedi's family came from a long line of accomplished weaver. His mother had inherited the position of loom setter, and it was a position Mohammedi's sister one day hoped to have.
Mohamadi,
His father called.
It is time to take the herd out for grazing. You must let your mother and sister tend to the loom now. Yes, Father,
He said reluctantly. Mohammadi wished he could stay and watch his mother weave. When Mohammadi returned with his father and their sheep, it was almost dark. Mohammadi quickly ran to the loom, but his mother had stopped weaving and was now calling him for the evening meal. Later that night, Mohammadi crept silently out of the tent when everyone was asleep. He lit an oil lamp near the loom and touched the cloth his mother had been weaving. Even though she had just started, Mohammadi recognized the pattern. He wondered what would happen if he just changed it a little bit, and he slowly began working with the woolen threads as he had seen his mother do many times. The next morning, Saida came outside to find Mohammadi fast asleep next to the loom. Mohammadi, she cried, what have you done to mother's pattern? Their mother awoke and ran outside. Mohammadi sat up, rubbing his eyes. He had fallen asleep while weaving.
I finished your pattern, Mother.
He said. You mean you made a new one? His sister said angrily. I like this, my son. Mohammadi's mother nodded and ran her hand over the woven cloth.
Do you really, Mother?
Mohammadi asked, surprised. Yes, she said, smiling at him. I think it is beautiful and that we should use it for the sheik's blanket. Mohammadi could not help but feel proud. With his mother's approval, he knew that this would not be the last time he weaved.